Hi
Hi everyone. Hi
Hi.
everyone.
You welcome to
Female relationship.
Flavors and Wisdom.
Hi, welcome. We are doing a little. We're just doing some test running today, and this is going to be our first test run. We're going to say grand opening. So what to speak. We're getting some things together. We have some recipes. We've already done some videos already, so we have going to do some pre-recorded things. But we appreciate you guys stopping by. We kind of just posted it out last minute, so I don't expect crazy amounts of people in here, but obviously we want to promote some real good energy. And so I'm gonna let Rosie, because she was investigating today about our topic, and as you guys see, she's gonna go kind of tell you about that, and then we'll go from there.
So, the running gag was we are supposed to go ahead and give you guys a recipe. The recipe today was supposed to be spaghetti.
Mm.
And with that being said, we know a lot of us are aware of the voodoo tradition of adding blood into spaghetti to make someone fall in love with you. And me and Miss Polly were having a conversation and, just making jokes as we were making our spaghetti. Like, it's crazy how people think that they can force love. Because at the end of the day, once you start forcing love, you start changing yourself to fit a narrative in someone's mind to make them love you. You kind of, are taking away that option for that person to go ahead and be able to truly love you. It's not genuine. And then B, you're also taking that option for that person to not be in your life and for you to find what you're needing and for them to find what they're needing. So we're just kind of wanting to break down the idea of forcing love. Again, the whole concept was to have a bowl of spaghetti in here. Just to let you know, me and Miss Polly are not pro putting anything in anybody's spaghetti besides what's supposed to go in there. But again, it's just a crazy concept when you think of love spells, when you think of just going ahead and making someone fall in love with you instead of letting something genuinely build. And we thought it was an interesting
Mm.
topic, so we hope you enjoy.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, definitely like that is a southern thing you hear about a lot. You hear some guys bring it up.
Mhm.
A lot, a lot of Caribbean people bring it up a lot of times, like you said, the idea of, women going to these astronomical uh things to get men to actually stay connected. And a lot of that has to do with the fear, I believe, is the fear of like them not really wanting you, or making sure they don't leave because, like, do I meet those requirements for this man. We were not trying to blame men. We all love men out here in these streets.
Yes.
But we definitely know that a lot of women, if they're not deciding to be single or not deciding to be with someone, ones who actually want to find a man and are pushing for that, we're kind of thinking like, what kind of stuff should we be doing to not only get a man, keep a man, make sure he's happy, and make sure we're happy also at the same time. So those are big things. So we talked about our recipe. So I want to give you the recipe, or I want Ro to give you her recipe for her spaghetti. She had, and while she's doing that, I'm gonna see if I can throw our. We have some pictures and everything, but we're gonna
Yes.
see if Ro can get that for us.
Absolutely. So, one, I also wanted to shout out LA Project because she actually also brought up in an earlier live today about how people, well, men in general, will also shape themselves and mold themselves into what a woman likes because we will say what we like in a man. And, men will try to kind of overstep and be like, yeah, I'm all those things. And again, you're taking away a woman's choice to go ahead and do that. But yeah, as far as my spaghetti goes, I went with a baked spaghetti. It is very near and dear to my heart because my mom, that is how she makes her spaghetti ever since I was a kid. So I, of course, do regular. I like angel hair. I like the very thin noodles. So as I'm boiling my angel hair pasta, I will go ahead and either brown up my ground turkey or my ground beef. I decided this one in the recipe you'll see in the picture. It was ground beef. I think I did like 2 pounds because I ended up making like 2 casserole dishes worth of baked spaghetti. And then with that being said, I like to add onions. I do chopped yellow onions. I like to add garlic. I'll add about I like a lot of garlic, so 5 to 6 cloves worth of mashed garlic. What else do I add? I like to add just a little more extra tomato-y. So I will go with petite diced tomatoes, little canned diced tomatoes, 1 can, just pop it in there. Mix that all up. Then, of course, my seasoning. I'm a Creole girl, so Tony Chachere, onion powder, garlic powder. Just a regular extra. I do a little stevia because I'm not really big on sugar, so I'll do stevia and monk fruit just for that little sweetness to kind of cut out that acid taste of the tomatoes. Then I add my pasta sauce. Depending if I needed to water, if it's too thick or anything, I might add a little of the pasta water, and then I layer it. So a little sauce on the bottom, noodles, sauce on top, and then I go with Colby Jack and mozzarella cheese. Pop it in the oven, 425 for like 10-15 minutes until it's all nice and bubbly. And yeah, that's my recipe.
Okay, yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent. So yes, for so like the part where I do spaghetti. So as you can see, Rosie, like a lot of times people like sweet tomato sauce. I'm not. If you guys eat ragu and all that out there, no diss to that. Or I'm just gonna mute you because I think it's a little bit echo. We'll fix it later though. It's only when I talk though. What usually I do is like I don't buy jarred tomato sauce no more. That's done for me. I don't like the sweetness. It's too sweet. I taste the sugar in it. So what I do now is I actually buy cans of tomatoes. I buy crushed tomatoes. I buy tomato sauce, and then I'll use those cans, and then I'll build my own sauce out of that. Sometimes I'll get the one that has garlic in it already. If not, I'll get garlic and I'll go ahead and chop that up, put that inside of there. Usually use like 1 to 2 cloves. It's not like a lot because it's very powerful when it's in raw form. So you don't have to do that. You put that inside. Some people like oregano. Like I said, it's not for me all the time, but sometimes I'll put that in there. So I'll be putting that in there. If you'd like to add that, and then you're gonna stir it. Do not be scared of salt when you are using fresh canned tomatoes, because you're gonna need that, right? And salt brings out the flavor. So don't be scared of salt, my friend. Salt is your friend in this situation when you're starting from the base raw. So you're gonna, taste it. Don't be scared to taste your food, please. We do that. Sometimes I put green peppers in it. I'll chop up a green pepper. Sometimes I like them thicker because kids do not like that all the time. So you make them thick, so then if they want to remove it, they can. But for the most part, and I'll stir that in there. Gonna add, like I said, a little bit of pepper, and then you kind of let that simmer. And then I get regular spaghetti noodles, sometimes penne and sometimes bow tie, depending on how frisky you want to get, change the texture. And then I'll boil that. Now you want to boil it not till it's real tender, because what happens is when you put it into the sauce, it's still cooking. Remember, the heat's still cooking, so you don't want it extremely, you want it al dente. So you put that al dente, sorry. You put that inside of your sauce, and you're good. I separate my meat from my tomato sauce, just because sometimes people don't want to have both, and that's fine. So I'll put those together, and that's basically how I make spaghetti. And then if you want garlic bread, you can make garlic butter. Same thing. Garlic, you can chop it up yourself, get a little oil, get a little butter, stir it together, spread it on your bread, pop it in the oven, and then bake that. Now, usually right now, we're just telling you the recipe. We're going to put that in the description next time. Like I said, this is just kind of like we're trying to test out our mics. Obviously, we're going to get ourselves an intro done here this week. And we actually did start our video already. So we have another video that actually shows us making the process and cooking. So guys, wait for that. And then as you see, we are matching. So we're trying to get it all coordinated and beautiful for everyone. So today is going to be our conversational part. And then we're going to go from there. We also want to send out, let me go over here to the link. We want to send out a link for people who want to have conversation with us, because we want people to come up here. Obviously, let me just add that link in here. I want people to come up here this time. Sometimes we won't do this all the time. It'll usually be a live. We're gonna have our lives are a little bit different, and then you guys can participate. Let me put that in there. So yeah, our lives are going to be where people can come up and have conversation. When we do our pre-recording, we're just going to be having conversation about topics and sharing But when we do our live stream, maybe like once or twice a month, then we'll have conversation where people can come in, have conversation with us. We probably won't be cooking, but not necessarily. We're gonna see what you guys want us to do and what you like. So I'm gonna just go on mute real quick, and then we're gonna start the conversation. Ro has got some good key points with, how, whatever topic she'd like to start with about taking away the choice to say no, and then kind of go from there, and we'll proceed. Okay, go ahead.
So, as far as taking away the choices to say no, me and Miss Polly, we decided to kind of go with the conversation of lying. So, with that being said, if you think about a first date and, you are just trying to get to know people, first, second, third dates, the inconsistencies that people might want to throw out there, they might not want to tell their whole story, the whole truth. But again, it is kind of important when we are doing this whole dating thing, getting to know each other thing, even in friendships, just genuine relationships, to be as upfront and honest. And that sounds really like, very common sense known. But I really think a lot of people, because we're so caught up in putting this representative on when we go into dates, that people are so afraid of genuinely being who they are to find their person. Because I speak very much about how people end up in situations and relationships where they don't even like each other. And then you are now in a years long marriage and you're like, who is this person? Because this is not the person that I met. So again, that goes back to the idea of taking my option away, your option away, of saying no. Because if this person does not click up with your values, if this person does not click up with your standards, or just even what you want for your life, it really strips you of yourself, because either people end up settling or people get so caught up in the lie, and then it taints everything and it just turns into something that it shouldn't. So again, I think that's a big conversation. Like, yeah, we know lying's bad, but no one really talks about what the outcome is. And that's why we really wanted to have this conversation with y'all.
Yeah, I agree. Like you're saying, like, we're gonna give a little story time. We're gonna give a little story time now. So like when obviously y'all know I go on dates sometimes. I have, some people who would like to get to know them and blah blah blah. But I'm gonna tell you something. I hate it. Oh my goodness. It is annoying when you start these conversations with people and you okay, you ask them a few questions like, okay, well, where do you work? What do you like to do? All this. And some guys, and that's why I don't necessarily like some gentlemen to know that Miss Polly doesn't mean just Miss Polly. It means other things that I have a YouTube channel, because what happens is sometimes men will do a little investigation. They'll go and watch, and there's women too, but they'll go watch me, hear what I said about what I like in a guy or something. That's why sometimes I try not to talk about it too much, because they'll take that and try to apply it and start with a false face. So they'll be like, oh, well, she likes guys who are more serious, so let me put on a serious face. No, I want you to be you, not just because like I want you to be you for you, but I want you to be you because at the end of the day, if you're not a serious person or the kind of person, whatever I said I like, you're going to come to the table falsely saying, holding up something that you can't even keep together for 2 weeks. And I ain't going to want to talk to you because you told me you a man who don't lie, right? But then I asked you where you work and you didn't change it 3 times. First off, that right there is automatic default. You should be gone. Be straight up honest with you. Because if you can't even be honest about where you work or what you like to do, and you just waiting for me to, tell you so then you can pretend to match it, it's like a waste of time. And when you do that, also, like you said, when you take away someone's option to say no. When I meet men, I don't say, oh yeah, I really like you and we're just gonna be by ourselves and kind of talking like that. No, I tell them I'm pilot and it's gonna be a whole nother gentleman, because I don't want you to think that this is that. I try to say it up front first. Even if I have my profile set up, I usually say, hey, did you read the profile? Or hey, I'm pilot, right? You know what that means, right? It's not just women, right? Like, I make sure they're very, very aware of what it is, because next thing you know, I done spent a whole 3-4 days getting to know someone, and then they're like, oh, I thought your poly was with women. And I'm like, no, sir. So it really is it's like a waste of time. It can be a little stressful, and we, like you said, this channel right here is kind of like gauge to kind of telling women, like, I know women are very afraid. We're gonna kind of remove that. Women sometimes are really afraid to tell men like how many kids they have. If they have kids, they try to avoid those conversations. And I understand that might make you feel uncomfortable because you feel like, okay, if I tell some guy I have this many kids, I'm not saying you're gonna strike out. I'm saying whoever that is who don't want to have kids or don't want somebody who has kids, let them be. That just ain't the man you supposed to be with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you feel about that, Earl. I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I definitely agree, especially as a mother with a young child, new to going back to the dating scene. It is a very it's a tightrope type of conversation to have, especially because it's like, listen, I have a guideline of how long I want to date you before you even meet my kid. I'm just letting you know this as a precursor, because if you're not interested in dating someone with children, then I'm not going to take your option of saying no away. So this is who I am, this is what I come with, and I know, like you said, this is it's like I said, it's a tightrope kind of situation for women to kind of say, because it's a balance, because you are your child's first advocate. So the mindset is, I need to protect my child. But then, because we hear on these conversations in this space, you're not supposed to date because you have a young child. You're not supposed to date because you're a mother. And it's like, but as a woman, I have the need of companionship. I have the want for companionship. And, me personally, I want to have more children. So I would like to find a mate who is okay with loving my child as is, but also, building our family together. So like I said, that's why it feels like a balancing act. Like, do I tell this man? And you don't want to tell every man everything, because some people don't make it past the first date. So that's why I'm just like, I see where the nervousness comes from. But ladies, I do think we also need to advocate. It's advocating for yourself, it's advocating for your children, and it's advocating for your standards and your wants. So if you do come as a package deal, let that person walk away, because that is that opportunity for universe, God, whatever you want to, your higher power that you do believe in, to open that door. We keep trying to hold on to things and trying to force things where the universe is like, no, baby girl, I got something better for you, but you got to let this go. So that's why, especially like the kid conversation and, the lies. One of the points that I had was like the trust issue. Obviously, you lose trust. If I read from this list real quick, let me know if I go in and out real quick, Polly, just so I know if I have to kind of read and come back and vice versa. So one of the was, can you hear me?
I can. And shout out to Michelle.
Hey,
Michelle, bring it in. Drip Nation coming through. I appreciate you, boo.
Shout out to Drip Nation. I'm going to just read from this list. I'm not going to really break down really quickly, because I kind of want you to pick and choose which ones you feel are really big. So the first one, as far as lying in a relationship, here's a breakdown of potential impacts. Number 1, loss of trust. 2, emotional distance. 3, guilt and anxiety. 4, increased conflict. 5, damage to communication. 6, broken respect. 7, potential for a breakup. And then 8, cycles of dishonesty.
Lord praise him.
I'm gonna let you take that one.
Lord, I'll say now. See, that's Lord. That's what I'm saying. You can't just be out here just telling nobody. And look, I can't stand people who lie a lot. It's like, I shouldn't even say a lot, just in general. It's like annoying. Just be honest. It's like a waste of time. I don't understand why we have fallen as a society into this. Oh, it's a little white lie. Everybody does it. They ain't little no more. These lies are so vast and extreme. I don't even know how we do anything on a daily basis. You lie about, even if you wake up, oh, they only got to know every move I make. You are weird. Just say, hey, sir, I don't want you to know what I do every day. Say, ma'am, I listen, you want to know a little too much. Right now, like, let's just chill and focus on this. There's a way to redirect instead of lying. You don't have to lie to redirect. You can just say, hey, look, I don't feel comfortable talking about that. I don't feel like that's something I need to put on the table right now. Maybe I'll tell you another time. I don't feel comfortable. You can say that. That's fine. But like you said, the thought that someone's always going to be dishonest, you can't trust them. You can't trust them at all. And that goes even deeper with women and in building a foundation with a man. Our first thing I always hear a lot of times men are saying, why don't women listen to us? And I think a big part of that is because we don't trust you. It's a trust issue. We are told that you are not trustworthy. Not that you shouldn't listen to guys, they're dumb. I never heard someone say men are dumb. Now people might say that. I don't really hear that. I hear people say, oh man, they don't know what they're talking about. I hear them mostly say like they just don't trust that what you're saying is the truth. It's an honesty issue because they think whatever you're saying is really in the benefit of yourself. You're self-benefiters. You're not saying this because you care about what happens to me. You're saying this for self-preservation or just self-safety. You're not saying these things to help me or to be positive towards me. And not that everything has to be that way. It's like usually when I get with a partner, and this has happened, I've gone through this process before many times, is that I'm not really trustworthy of what their intentions are for me. I know they like me. It could be most of the time, we can't say that guys are attracted to women. They're going to want to bang, right? Blah, blah, blah. But what is it further? What is the connection we have? So until I can figure out if you are, in a place where your intent is to be positive for me, like you have good intent for me, I'm not fully in trust of you. So when you say something or you're telling me things, I'm hesitant because I'm not fully in trust. And so when you're telling lies or when you're being dishonest or you're trying to just say whatever to keep me around, it's really an issue with women. I believe, in my opinion, that women are having a hard time trusting what men are saying, or just trusting men in general, not what they're saying, trusting men in general. Because if your daddy said it, you would trust that he thinks he wants your well-being to be good. So when he says something, most likely you're going to be like, yeah, my dad's probably right. Or you might say, my dad's probably right, but I still want to do this. But you're not going to be like, hey, he's just saying that so he can get his way. You're not really thinking that. So I think a lot of men maybe misinterpret women saying they don't like what they're saying. It's because we don't like what you're saying because we think that we can't trust you, and so that's my opinion of that. But I think once you build that foundation with someone that, hey, my intent is to be positive and something good for you. I want you to learn something. I want you to do this, that we would execute that a little bit different. And so that's my opinion about that. But I'll let you rebuttal. And hey, Productions, how you doing? We are doing well. I'm glad you came by. High shots out to you and appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Please hit the like button. Help us grow. Y'all, we are a new channel. I am enjoying my time, brainstorming with Miss Polly. We have so much just in store for you all. Please help us by supporting. We are just trying to just get out here. We don't want to really do too much on women versus men. We are trying to build a community together. We are trying to just have the conversations. And we're also just trying to cook some good food, do a little learning and stuff like that. And I just think it's a really fun time. We really have some great ideas that I really hope that you all enjoy. And just so, like I said, because we are trying to build this community together, you saying that, Miss Polly, it actually has me think, besides just the rhetoric that we hear in this space, I would like to actually know, and I don't know if we're going to open the panel later. I know we're still new. But if we do, I would like to know non-manosphere, non-ignorant talking points of what men don't trust in women. Because I do think the disconnect is on both sides. And I do want to hear from men. I do want to know, hey, what is it that you feel women are dishonest about? I want to know, what is it that when you men are dating, what are you all running into that is either hindering you? Because I notice with a lot of men, they rather play the field because they like to see, okay, this woman right here, she checks box number 2 through 4. but I need somebody who's going to check 1, 5, and 7 through 10. I don't even know if my numbers make sense right now. But men will kind of search for everything that woman can search, like can check for them. Versus women, we're gonna be like, okay, he checks boxes 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can kind of skip over 1, 2, buckle my shoe, whatever I was saying. I've been drinking wine. Y'all leave me alone. But I do want to know, like, as far as the dishonesty, why are we dishonest with each other? Because I do think it's on both sides. That's kind of just my long tangent to say that.
I think that really does need to be built, though. Like you said, I think it's almost like to some degree like a fear of rejection, because a lot of us just want an opportunity, right? We want an opportunity to be loved and cared for. I think a lot of us are looking for somebody to just be the other half. And some of us, this is where it comes down. We're going to get to a little deeper conversation. But a lot of us, I think, are looking for someone that we think we want. And I know it's like you should know what you want. I think what we think, our perception of what we actually think we want. Because there are a lot of people who are not matching properly. It's point blank. There are people who just, I want the athlete, I want this. And those same people can't even deal with anybody who has a lot of attention, because they always feel like they're competing with someone else constantly. You shouldn't be with someone matched like that. Those matches really don't do well. So that's just an example. And I think there's a lot of people who are trying to just get something because they think that's what they want. You think you want the hot girl, but do you know what that means when you have a very, very attractive woman, but everyone else wants her? Are you going to be constantly thinking that she's going to go cheat, or she's going to look for the next man because, or the opposite way as a woman, when your man's look good out here, he wearing sweatpants and he out here looking like, oh my God, like I don't want every woman trying to touch my man. I don't want, my man's got abs. Like every time I turn around, there's some woman trying to talk to him with the freak, or we're in the gym and every time he go over there doing chest day, it seemed like some baddie trying to get next to him. Wait a minute. Like, I think women are like in sometimes like, damn, like, he's mine, but like, I don't really like that. You know what I'm saying? It's too much. And so I think when we're in this constant state of not knowing if we can even compete to even keep that kind of person, it's really stressful. And I think it has to do with a lot of people not having confidence in themselves. Like, I don't know, but we mentioned you, Ro. I said, I don't ever feel like I'm in competition with anyone. It's not because I think I'm the baddest out here. That's not the reason. It's because if you like me, I feel like you're going to like me. You're going to like me regardless if the next bitch is bad. Sorry, that's bad words. The next lady's bad. You're going to still want me. You're going to still want me because what you saw in me initially, it was enough. And if it isn't enough, then you weren't going to want me anyway. And it's okay if you go to the person you think is, that's the person you're supposed to be with. So it wouldn't have mattered. So when someone says, I feel like I'm not competing. I'm here. And if you would love me and I'm a valuable person, this is where I am. And if you like that, that's fine. That's how I feel that we should, kind of move around. Because when you're just in a place where you're like, I got this man finally. This man is so sexy. I love him, everything about him. And then all of a sudden, you start thinking like, oh, damn, that other girl is really pretty. Or, she does this and this. And then you start thinking like, I don't do those things. And he seems to like that. And you're like, damn, I don't know. And I can't do that. Or I don't have a triple D. It ain't going to happen for me. So then am I ever going to be able to be good enough? And then you start beating on yourself, start beating up on him. Then you start trying to maybe possibly make him fat. So he can't get no boo. I don't know. Maybe that's maybe. So.
Ooh, okay. So you're not the first, like, I will say you're the first woman that I've actually been able to have this conversation with. I have had this conversation in the space with men, as far as men do feel like women sabotage them. And again, I'm never going to just be like it's only one side or the other. I do feel like it's on both sides. but the sabotage and the trapping part of things, and that goes back to forcing love. Like, I'm going to, I met you, and we call it happy weight when we're in a relationship, or the whole concept of just trapping someone. I don't necessarily like to believe that children are traps. So I kind of want to pivot away from that mindset. That's why I'm making sure that I do this disclaimer. But there are other ways that we kind of lock someone in. And it's kind of like, now that I think about it, just even the phrasing of being locked in a relationship, you're not a caged bird. Like,
Hey,
you
bro,
are.
wait, you ever heard a man say, "Oh, girl, I just want to get you pregnant"? You like, wait a second, sir.
That's
Well,
a threat.
who say that to somebody when you first meet them?
That's a threat.
That
Don't
is
feel
a real.
911.
You know I ain't pulling out. What, pulling out a wait a minute. No, sir.
We haven't even gotten to date one yet, sir.
No, see, you already a red flag. We're gonna have to put you on the you put you on the sideline. You wilding.
And for some reason, men think that's a compliment because they're thinking like, "Oh, girl, you're so beautiful. I wouldn't pull out on." Like, no, sir. That's That's why I'm like, the things that we compartmentalize in our dating lifestyles, it's very backwards. When you really just sit down, I don't think anyone really just takes the time to sit down and be like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna lock this person up." Like, are we in jail when we're dating? And then you hear people when they talk about marriage, ball and chain. I'm like, that sounds miserable. So that's why I'm just like, are we really just afraid to take away, or are we afraid and we have to take away that option for someone to say no for us? And again, I don't think we're willing to grow, because even if they say no, that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship has to end either. I think people need to learn how to adapt. We're very much afraid, and I think that goes back, like I said, to the forced love and to the lying. We're afraid to speak up for ourselves of what we want from our partner, especially when we've been with this person for so many years. And we don't know how to maneuver when things change. As I get older, I'm changing. My mind is getting, I'm starting to experience things. I'm starting to learn things about myself that I wasn't really privy to when I was 21, when I was 18. So now it's kind of like I'm about to be 29. 29-year-old Caitlin is not the same as 19-year-old Caitlin. So whoever was dating 19-year-old Caitlin, God, I'm so sorry. So sorry. She grew up. So if anyone actually is watching this who knows my life, she grew up from 19-year-old Caitlin. But, I just like to think about these things because I hadn't before. And then once we started really having these conversations and just sitting down and doing the research, I'm like, ooh, there are some mindsets that a lot of us have to rephrase and re-trigger. Not even re-trigger, just reprogram.
That's true. Like you said, like you don't really think about it. The trap is, and that's okay. We're gonna go down this lane. Those women who be talking to no men and who are in jail and stuff. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm gonna pull your car right now. Y'all calling men in jail, and you didn't know that man before he was in prison. If you go on any website or you was on Facebook and you saw this man in jail, what you thought? You first off, did you think he was his number one because he's in jail? Girl, he talking to everybody because he's surviving right now. And then when he get out of jail, why would you get with this man? Why would you drive? You know any sad stories I've heard of women driving pick men up and they baby mama outside the jail, or when they get out, they gotta live somewhere. And a lot of women are like, oh, but it's just us, we gonna ride or die. The mindset is that you think you can't control this man at this point, if you really think about it, because he has to live somewhere. You're giving him a place to stay. He has to live somewhere. And then on top of that, you control what he gets and what he can't have because you're providing for that for whatever short amount of time. And then when he starts working and stuff like that, you can always pull that card of, look what I did for you. This is a way, I believe, to control if the man stays or not. That's a very controlling woman. If a man, well, men already know that. They gonna put through it just to get what they need. So when a woman is putting herself in a position to date a man who's in a place of survival, he's not even, he's just trying to survive. So he can't even make a decision with that's really pertaining to you and him. Bye, baby. I don't think he can actually say if he wants to be with you or not. And matter of fact, most of the time they don't, because you can see the matches. That show, that prison show, you know what I'm talking about, Locked, it never really worked out because those men are only really doing that in survival. When they get out and they have the option to get with all them those women they want to get, they don't pick you. When those men get out of jail, they start cheating because first off, he didn't want to be with you anyway. He just trying to make sure he got money in his pocket, he can do what he need to do, and he can get what done. But once he gets done with all that, I've met a guy like that. Man came up to me, at a barber shop and said, "Oh," I said, don't you have a lady?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "But I got out of jail like 6 months ago." He's like, "I just gotta do what I gotta do." He's like, "But this is her car and everything, but like like in a month or two, I've been working, so like I should be good and I'm gonna move on." So you already prepping to leave. I said, "Oh no, sir. Nah, I don't do that." See, that's wow. So I just think it's a controlling thing with women. I'm calling your card out on it. Y'all women are not here trying to love on those men in jail. Y'all trying to make sure that man don't go nowhere, and you can have somebody who's going to get out and try to help you, because most likely he's going to be in a position where he can't just get into a high paying job. Let's just be honest. There's the limits on those things. So you purposely putting yourself in a position to be with someone who's going to have to lean on you close to like a child. Sounds ridiculous. Let's just be honest. And you didn't know him before he went to jail. He ain't gonna get out and be making 50K, baby. No, he ain't. They're just not gonna work.
You just gave me an idea, and for those catching the replay, for those who's still in the chat with us, please comment and tell me if you like this. Again, also comment, like, subscribe. We are building. But I think maybe we should do a forced love series where we can also review Love After Lockup, all these, dating shows, Love is Blind, all of these. We might do like little reviews and stuff like that while we're cooking or while we're making cocktails and stuff like that. Just so we can kind of see in real time what a forced, and we can even do like pre-record so y'all can kind of just see it as it goes along. But we really would like to see what forced love in action looks like, because I don't think people know how to call it out either. So the fact that you just said that, because I do see a lot of people dating for survival. We call them homosexuals, right? Where they're just kind of living on somebody, like living off a woman, living off a man until they can get right. And that again is part of that dishonesty cycle that people like to portray, because you're not really intentionally being with this person. You don't really want to be with this person, but it's convenient. And a lot of people need to be honest when it comes to this dating and being in relationships. They're only in it for convenience.
No, that's true. That's very, very true. It's like more of convenience. They're just trying to, like I said, that person's in survivor mode. It's not even, they have to be able to build themselves up, but they also have to lean on someone. It's like a kind of like a messed up situation that they're in. But the women who really go into that thinking that they're going to find their husband, and some women, they do get married to these men, but those men are probably in the mindset that they know they're not going to be able to just get out of jail and, get in. Some of them might maybe not even get the kind of woman they would love to have, because they have put themselves in a position where they, they're not able to really do as much as everyone else, or they're going to struggle. And the women that they probably are after won't be able to, won't be attracted to that. Like I said, if you went and you were out just in a regular and you have the option, this is when options are really, really important. And I think women, us women, and this is not, like I said, this is us women, we are sometimes in the mind that we think that, we want this man's going to be with us. But to be real honest, and I'll say this as a woman who has many children, if you saw me on paper, you probably would not talk to me. But the way I present myself and the way that I carry myself and have conversation, my education does play a part in that too. The things that I am able to do, I offer a lot more than what I take. So when a man looks at me and he weighs the options in a um and that view, a lot of times that works for some men. That's not all men. That works for some men, that being with me, the option of that is way, it outweighs itself. Compared to, I'm saying, like on a single monogamous field, that what it looks like. And that's why I've always been, even when I was younger, I was always able to date kind of above probably where I should have been able to date. It's just because of those things, because you got to put yourself in a position where the options out here, when these guys look at all the options, all the beautiful options that they have out here, where do you line up at? That's where it kind of is. If you had the option to be with the man with abs, who's sexy and, like you said, 6 foot, whatever it is y'all women want. If you had the option to be with that, or the guy who just got a freaking jail, who just did a 5-year bid, who when he gets out, he's not gonna be able to get nothing, and he won't, he can't apply to certain jobs. Which one are you choosing? That's what it's like when those men say, yeah, you might still choose him because he might have an opportunity still, might start on his own business. That's cool. But at the end of the day, if you had the option, would you run for the man in jail, or would you try to get the other one, and then if possibly this one works out, it works out? That's the difference when you have options, because you're not going to choose the worst, the option that doesn't fit best. I'm not saying we should disqualify everyone, but I'm saying, but if you were in that person's shoes, you saw the man with the abs, he's got all his hair, he's got all his hair, he can do all this stuff, and you as a woman, who would you choose? Because y'all women say the same thing. We want the 6 foot, blah blah blah. So if we had the option, would you choose that guy or the guy who's 5'3", who been in jail for 5 years and just got? You're not gonna choose that guy. But if this guy gets out of jail, he starts his own business, and he's making like, almost 6 figures, and he's like, he's in good shape. Okay, he's starting to look a little better because he's making himself that way. That's why. So when we say women, how are we making ourselves presentable to particular men? No, I may not ever be able to date the guy who doesn't have kids and all this stuff, but can I make myself, in a better situation so I can attract particular men? Absolutely. But you got to work on those things. You got to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself. I love big women. Don't get me wrong with this. But at the end of the day, that being in shape, it plays a lot of part, even in your confidence and the way you walk, how you feel. You can be big, and I'm not trying to be an asshole. But at the end of the day, like, I felt it. When I lose weight, I feel it. My back feels better. I can move around a lot better.
Girl, my knees,
girl. I have more energy. I can't lie to you about that. So when they say that, it don't make sense. So would he rather have the woman that he has to help around with the cane because I'm 30 and my knees hurt? Or does he want the woman who can walk around and she can do a little sprint or, pick up some groceries? That's the one he gonna choose. That just makes sense.
I mean, so you keep giving me ideas. So I'm going to have to write these down before we go, because now I'm also just wondering, like, because we always talk about how men go out of their league for women that they don't qualify for. But in the same breath, I do feel like women do it as well. Like, we have these expectations of certain things that we want, but because we're so focused on the expectation of the man, a lot of women fall short on what they need to also withhold and uphold for themselves as far as expectations to get said man, and vice versa. Like, a lot of people, we kind of put this pedestal person on there, and if we get them, we've reached this maximum in our mind because we are now worthy of that person. And then that's why the dynamic always ends up being shifted, and it's such a chase, and it's never equally yoked, because you spent all this time just pedestalizing this person instead of working internally to make yourself not only just worth it for that person, but worth it to yourself. And I think that's where a lot of people get into the cycle of forcing love. Please love me because I'm chasing this person because I don't feel good enough. I feel like you are somewhere above me. So once you accept me, once you validate me, I made it. I'm good. And that's never the case, because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that person can up and leave at any time, and then you're back into whatever you would consider square one. So again, it's about feeling yourself before you actually. I think I kind of just had a little revelation. That's why we force love in the first place, because we don't want to feel ourselves. Putting into ourselves is so much more work than, I guess, chasing somebody. And that sounds so backwards, but I think that's the case.
I think you might be right. Look at us coming to conclusions this evening. I think so, because working on yourself is a lot of work. It is hard, and you have to keep trying. And if we mess up, it's like we have to confront ourselves, right? We got to acknowledge that there's something wrong first. Then we have to make a plan to fix it. But it's easier just to be like, oh, you should just accept me. Accept me for who I am. Accept me for this. Because the work is a lot harder to fix the stuff that we done messed up. You know, like sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you, sometimes I be out here being stupid and I be over shopping. And I'd rather not look at that bank statement and realize that, hey, the reason why my stuff ain't right is because I was out of pocket. I'd rather say like, oh no, my bank is low, my money's low, and it's, you know, oh, whatever. No, it's me, because I made bad choices, I made bad decisions, and now I have to figure out how to fix it, and I have to work on it. And that's a lot harder than just being like, hey, can you just give me $20? Can you just fix my problem? That's a lot easier, you know? Or my favorite one is, it's great to ask for forgiveness than to ask, you know, to do something. So I rather, you know, mess it up and then ask. A lot of men and women will do that. They rather screw up and ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Hey, are you okay with me doing this? Are you okay that I have this or I do this? And they're scared of the denial of the permission. Then to just, you know, they don't want to do that. They rather say, hey, I rather just tell him this. And then I'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And then the forgiveness is, no, stop it. That's too much. I'll let you go ahead, Ro.
No, I completely agree. I was in agreement with the whole thing, because I'm guilty of it. I am absolutely guilty of asking for, you know, forgiveness instead of asking for permission. So I will, again, we're coming to revelations, we're coming to conclusions. This is all about growth and being better. I will be the person to tap and tiptoe on somebody's nerves, because again, I wasn't really happy with myself. So I did become a nagger, and you know, it's easier to be like, oh, well, I'm sorry, can you forgive me? Instead of just coming out to this person and just saying like, hey, I got my own stuff that I kind of need to work on. Love you. You're good where you need to be, but let me go take care of some stuff. We're still good. We're still locked in. But let me go do some stuff to you know, fix whatever I got an issue of. Like, I don't want you. It's literally we should add one of those days by Monica. Just one of them days. Like, I really want to be alone. Like, listen. Instead of just, like I said, tip tapping on somebody's nerves, I should have just had that self-reflection. But again, it's always easier to blame the other than to really go internal. And a lot of people don't want to hold that mirror. I've been guilty of it. I know we've all been guilty of it. That's why I'm like, this is such a relatable situation. Because people, even if you don't want to be like, I haven't done something to an extreme, we've all been guilty of forcing love. We've all been guilty of, you know, lying in a relationship or withholding truth. Because a lot of people like to act like those are so different. So yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna change our little banner. As you can see, Ro has her Cash App. Now, if you guys are going back and see this, you can still Cash App. Ro likes breakfast. She likes things too. We're not saying you have to, but if you like to support the show, she doesn't just get breakfast. We are gonna start trying to, like, you know, get little things like for our StreamYard and things like that, and Canva, and we want to be able to, you know, pour into that without taking from us the whole time. I know it takes time. So if you like to support us, my Cash App's there. If you would like to do rose, we're going to actually get one for the channel. We're working on it like a little at a time. We get one for the channel, put that in here. We are some of the things we would like to do. We would like to get our series going. We're going to have a set up weeks and things like that. And then we're going to have like a cookbook that we'll probably put together at the end of each season. And we can send that to you guys who like to support. And we also want to give you healthy recipes. We're going to have some wonderful guests on here. We're going to show it's not just for ladies, it for men too who want to learn how to cook, but also have good conversation and educate women and show women support in all kinds of situations. And also, let men know that we are here to try to better ourselves too, for just in general, so we can be better out here in these dating streets in general, and better just women. And if you don't want a man, if that's your role, want to go to, but just be better for you. Get your skin together, get your all that stuff, your head together, whatever you want to do. You want to be there for you, and that's educational purposes too. We're gonna have some conversation with some ladies talking about college things, prep, all those things. And if you have questions and you want to hear a topic, please, send that to us. We have our email set up, film flavors and wisdom, and it's at gmail.com. So please go ahead and email us some ideas if you have questions, things like that, and we'll get back to you. Ro also has tips on all things that have to do with cosmetics. We're going to give her that. So if you guys like to ask questions about what colors she's wearing, listen, I'm not that great. She could probably tell what I'm wearing or whatever she'd like to do. So we want to hit that up. We're going to keep our lives at about an hour until we start getting popping. But thanks for everybody to come join us. Said hi, all the people in the chat. And I want to say thank you guys for it, at least showing up for us and subscribing. I really, really appreciate that. And we definitely gonna get some good stuff going here. I got some little things y'all gonna see. It's gonna be spicy too. Some things are gonna be spicy, some are gonna be educated, but we're gonna have some spicy stuff. I know y'all wondering what that grapefruit do. Okay, we're going anyway. We're gonna let Ro finish. Give her shots out before we wrap up the show.
Listen, because we're here to learn. We listen and we don't judge. And we just feel it's so important to have a community of people who actually just want to get to know themselves, that want to get to know each other, that want to just kind of learn a little bit. You're never too old to just keep learning. And yes, I am a licensed cosmetologist, so anybody who wants to hit me up, have questions. I am trying to also build my own personal channel. Miss Polly has her own personal channel, so if you rock with us, please also check us out on both of our pages, because we do have certain hobbies, we do have certain just passions that we do love to discuss, and we kind of just want to build this community up to the best of our ability. So like Miss Polly was saying, this is our first stream together on our channel. So it is brand spanking new, and we do want to grow with you all and just kind of give you all things that you might be interested in. So like I said earlier, if you want to see us react to some things, send us clips. Let us know what you are also interested in, because we do want to give you all, besides the cooking, besides the just the topics that we have, just a conversation. A lot of people don't know how to ask these questions. I saw Quentin said earlier, a lot of people don't even know what they want when it comes to dating. And that is that's a true issue, honestly, because people are just kind of out here just winging it. And, me and Miss Polly, we talk behind the scenes. We're really big on intentional dating. We are mothers. We do have, goals in mind with our partners. So it is something very important. Honestly, I don't know if Miss Polly's okay with me sharing this. We even just have like little fun kooky things. Like she said the grapefruit thing. As a woman who is monogamous, we have a little future show where me and Miss Polly are going to get into debates. And I have to do research on, is it polygamy or polygamy? That's just the overall.
Polygamy, polyamory. We're going to say poly life.
Poly lifestyle. as a monogamous woman, I'm going to debate it. If it's Polly, as a poly woman, she is going to debate me about monogamy. So it's just, we're going to have fun here. That's a long story again, just to say we want to have fun. We want to have fun with you all. So help us, tell us what you want to see.
All right, yeah, and then hopefully we'll have our ending and everything. Appreciate you guys holding on for an hour now, so we are good, Miss Ro. We will be uploading videos too. So this just the live. I'm gonna try, like I said, I want to try to do maybe one live a week. But if we can't do, one live a week, which is live, we're gonna have a video one day a week. We'll show about the recipe. You'll actually see us standing there and doing a recipe. And might have a guest on there, but that will be pre-recorded. So we'll have a pre-recorded and lives, and then we'll kind of see how that goes. So you guys can let us get feedback and share with us what you guys like. But definitely we want to see us in full form, and we might have an anime or dress up. We can talk about how, kinky play. Those are one of the, what entices gentlemen about the decor of women, because that's a big one. And I thought of that topic, which you should write down. Is because me and Roy, obviously we've been doing some pictures and things, and I've posted, and I got a lot of reaction on one photo I did, or a little reel or whatever. And I also got a little bit mixed reviews, and I was like, I was like, I thought y'all wanted this to look nice, but then some guys are like, oh, and they'll say little things, and I understand that, but I'm like, so what? Now I said over sexualized culture. What is the difference between savory and too spicy, or kind of have those kind of conversations. And I know guys are gonna say we just want we want the ones who look all nice, but then like they're like, okay, you want to look really nice, but wear this that looks really nice, or is there a middle? Is there a middle spiciness? I think there does exist, but that's another conversation. But we'll wrap up the show. Thank you guys. Please support us, and we will let you go. All right. Bye.
Don't forget to share. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you in the next one.